Can you hear me?
Yeah. It's fine.
Okay. As I hold this microphone, it's virtual. You can't see it, but it's here. As I hold this microphone, I want to answer the question some have been asking. They've been asking, why do we celebrate? And I'll tell you why we celebrate. We celebrate to attest to the fact that 3 or 4 years ago, some diligent Floridians got together and said no more, that we will make sure that all of our citizens that are in the shadows can come into the light and get their fullness. We attest to that and we celebrate that. We also attest to the fact that when we started with a paltry group of about 10, and it now has flourished into a huge number of people numbering in the tens of thousands. They're not here, but I see them. Do you remember the Sixth Sense? When he said, I see ghosts, I see 10,000. So we attest to the fact that the coalition that we've formed has been one of the most remarkable things that has ever happened. We have community-based organizations, we have faith-based organizations, we have NGOs, and we have even gotten support from the government itself. Did you hear what I said? Yeah. We've even gotten support from the government itself. Now, recently, there's been a lot of chatter about the fact that starting today, applications will be accepted and they will be registered. Let me tell you now, you're part of the reason why that has happened. Because we attest to the fact that this group produced over 10 documents attesting to the rights of citizens to vote and affirming it. We did not protest, we attested. We also attest to the fact that this same group spent over 300 hours, man hours and women hours, making this happen. And that's why we celebrate. But the real reason we celebrate today is because we have rededicated ourselves to making sure that while our neighbors and friends and indeed families have come out of the shadows and they can now vote, we have dedicated ourselves to making sure they become whole. And we're making sure they become whole by aligning ourselves with various groups in the community. And with that, I'm going to close and I'm going to call on one of our guests. And I would like to introduce you to one of my favorite people. I start to say little people because he's like my play nephew. He's Mr. Lowe's nephew, so I consider him my nephew. And Mr. Lowe is with the Lake Community Action Agency, and they're one of our partners that's going to help make our returning citizens whole. But right now we want to introduce you to Commissioner Julian Green of the City of Wildwood.
Yeah. Thank you so much. As Charles has eloquently said, and I'm not going to repeat why we're here, that we're here to celebrate. I want to bring greetings from the great city of Wildwood, Suffolk County, and of course, Florida. On behalf of the 1.4 ex-felons in our state, we want to make sure that our job is not quite over yet. Even though they have the right to vote, our job now is to make sure that they get registered. So we're going to pick up the ball from now and move it to registration, and then maybe at some point, once they're registered, maybe at some point they can be working on polls, maybe volunteer, or who knows what they could do. But right now, our job is not quite done. We need to make sure these 1.4 members of our society are registered. So once again, thank you, and we're here to celebrate.
Now, The next person I'm going to introduce you to has a hybrid kind of existence. At once, he's a minister at the Christian Worship Center here in Wildwood. But let me just tell you that as of last night, he is the mayor of Leesburg. I want to introduce you to Mayor John Christian.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning. As we celebrate, Mr. Wright has said, I'm a Leesburg native, born and raised in Leesburg. Pastor Christian Worship Center. We have 3 locations, one in Leesburg, one in Groveland, and one in Wildwood. So I travel Groveland at 8 o'clock, Wildwood at 10 o'clock, back in Leesburg at 11:30, and I preach all 3 services. I'm also the chairman of the Lake Community Action Agency, and it's one of the partners that Charles talked about. As he said, I've been on the City Council of Leesburg since 2004. This is my 4th year being the mayor of the city, which I'm excited about, especially on this day when we can celebrate people who, I believe as a pastor, a second chance. I believe when you pay your debts to society, you should have your rights restored. You should be afforded the freedoms and the liberties that we all enjoy. I'm just going to read you a text I got this morning from one of the members of my church. And I believe my role as a pastor goes far beyond preaching about Daniel in the lion den, preaching about, you know, all these other great things in the Bible. But I'm going to read you a text that I got from an ex-felon who goes to my church. He was a recovering crack addicted person. He now owns his own business. He's married. He's a homeowner. He says to me this morning, "Good morning, Mr. Mayor. I have a quick question. Where can I go to register to vote as a felon?" "Good morning, Rick, the supervisor of the election office. Where is that? I have been waiting on this day for a very long time." So your work that you've done has impacted people's lives. And as Commissioner Julian said, we want to get them registered. But guess what else we got to do? Make sure they go to the polls and vote. We got too many registered voters who are not voting because they've lost faith in the political system. Our job is to give them hope and faith that their vote does make a difference. So I go not just ex-felons, because we got to get those people ready to go and vote, but we got too many people sitting on the sidelines who are not involved, who's not interested, and they're impacted by building a wall that's not going to benefit anybody, by the IRS being shut down the government. We got people that go to my church work at the federal prison who said, "Basically, Pastor, I'm going to work and not getting paid." And it's impacting their mortgage payments, their car payments, and they're looking for help from those of us who are saying, that's not right. So on today, as we celebrate, let's make sure our voices are heard and those ex-felons know, get up and go register. If they don't register today, it's our job to take the registration forms to them and get them registered to know that it's important. Because believe it, a lot of people are intimidated by this political process, and it's our job to lighten that load and that burden, let them know that they are citizens of the United States of America and they got a right to vote, and we're going to make sure that they exercise that right. So when we celebrate, we don't celebrate for this day, but to many more days to come, that our goals and our visions are implemented by these new voters who are given a second chance at life. God bless you.